You know how we all leave stuff behind sometimes, like an umbrella on the bus or a sock that vanishes in the laundry? Well, astronauts do the same thing, except their lost and found is the moon. Over the years, we've left golf balls, family photos, tools, even some things that are, let's just say, not very glamorous. Space might look clean and empty, but if you know where to look, it's basically a giant attic full of our weirdest leftovers. So, let's start with the most unforgettable things we've left behind, mainly because you'd rather not remember them. During the Apollo missions, astronauts had a big problem: weight. Every extra pound meant more fuel to get home. So they brought back moon rocks and, in exchange, they left behind, well, bags of their own waste. 96 bags of it, to be exact. Yep, urine and feces, neatly packed and left on the moon like some weird time capsule nobody asked for. Now, why would scientists ever want to dig through decades-old astronaut poop? Believe it or not, astrobiologists have thought about retrieving it. The moon has no air, extreme radiation, and insane temperature swings. If any bacteria survived inside those bags, it could give us clues about how life might hang on in extreme environments, like Mars, or icy moons, such as Europa. So yes, one day some poor intern might be told, "Congratulations, you get to study Apollo-era bacteria. Bring gloves." But astronauts didn't only leave gross stuff, sometimes they just wanted to blow off steam. In 1971, Apollo 14's Alan Shepard decided he was going to play a little golf on the moon. He jury-rigged a golf club head onto a rock collecting tool, took a couple of swings, and sent 2 golf balls flying across the lunar surface.
They got more dirt than ball this time. The more dirt than ball, here we go again. It looked like a slice to me, Al. Here we go. Ready to die. One more. Miles and miles and miles.
On Earth, those shots would have landed in the rough. On the moon, they traveled for hundreds of yards. And they're still there today, sitting quietly in the lunar dust, probably the most expensive golf game in history. Then there's the Voyager Golden Record, which might be the most beautiful lost item we've ever made. When Voyager 1 and 2 launched in 1977, each carried a golden record filled with music, greetings in dozens of languages, and even sounds of whales and birds. Carl Sagan and his team designed it as a kind of message in a bottle for the universe. So if aliens ever stumble across it, their first impression of Earth won't be reality TV or Twitter. It'll be Bach, Chuck Berry, and greetings from people saying hello in 55 different languages.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Salutări la toată lumea. Konnichiwa, o genki desu ka?
धरती के वासियों की ओर से नमस्कार.
Paz e felicidade a todos.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Which, let's be honest, is a much better look for us. And of course, not everything left in space was intentional. In 2006, astronaut Piers Sellers lost his spatula while fixing the International Space Station. Imagine dropping your spatula while cooking dinner, except instead of it falling under the counter, it floats away. Forever.
We did actually lose a spatula. The crew uses these spatulas to enact the repair, and I have one here. This is just a mock-up of one. They actually weigh 0.78 pounds, are 14 inches by 2.5 by 2.5 inches.
That spatula is now just orbiting Earth, waiting for the universe's first alien barbecue. It's a reminder that even in space, people still manage to lose stuff. So in just a few decades, we've managed to leave behind poop bags, golf balls, golden records, and random kitchen tools. If that doesn't sum up humanity, I don't know what does. A mix of messy, playful, genius, and a little bit clumsy. Let's start with ashes. Legendary Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry had one last request: send his remains into space, and NASA delivered. In 1992, a capsule carrying part of his ashes was released into orbit. It likely burned up during re-entry, but for a little while, the man who gave us Captain Kirk and Spock was actually out there among the stars. That's about as poetic as it gets, though I can't help but imagine aliens opening that capsule and saying, "Wait, humans send us ashes?" Speaking of art, Apollo 12 has its own secret. Sculptor Forrest Myers wanted to send art to the moon, so he created a tiny ceramic wafer with sketches from 6 famous artists, including Andy Warhol. One engineer supposedly smuggled it under the lunar lander's gold blanket. NASA never officially admitted it, but Myers swears it's up there. Imagine risking your career just to sneak Andy Warhol's doodle onto the moon. That's dedication, or maybe the most rebellious art project in history. Then there's Charles Duke, an astronaut from Apollo 16. He left something on the moon that wasn't scientific or symbolic. It was personal, a family photo. On the back he wrote, "This is the family of astronaut Duke from planet Earth. Landed on the moon, April 1972. That photo is still there, slowly fading in the lunar dust. It's such a touching reminder that even in the middle of humanity's greatest adventure, astronauts are still just people who miss their families. Also, imagine explaining that to your kids years later. Yeah, Dad left your baby picture on the moon. But not everything was sentimental. Apollo 15 astronauts left behind something called the Fallen Astronaut. It's a small aluminum figurine, just a few inches tall, lying on the moon's surface next to a plaque listing 14 astronauts and cosmonauts who had died in the early years of space exploration. Unlike the golf balls and spatulas, this one wasn't playful. It was a memorial, a reminder that space travel was dangerous and people gave their lives pushing those boundaries. It's still up there, silent and undisturbed, like a little cemetery on another world. And then there are the messages from Earth. Apollo 11 alone left behind over 100 items to lighten the spacecraft. Most of it was boring equipment, but one piece stands out. A tiny silicon disc engraved with messages from world leaders and NASA employees. It's basically a time capsule, waiting for whoever or whatever finds it in the future. Imagine aliens picking it up one day and trying to decode Henry Kissinger's handwriting. Space isn't just a place we explore, it's become our scrapbook, full of personal mementos, culture, and the stories we want to leave behind. By now, you've probably realized space isn't just the final frontier. It's also the ultimate garage sale. But before we wrap up, let's look at a few more oddities that really complete the picture. Back in the early days of spaceflight, astronauts had to solve every problem on the fly, including plumbing. Before modern recycling systems, urine was just dumped overboard. Sounds gross, right? But astronauts described it as beautiful. The pee froze instantly and turned into sparkling crystals, drifting like glitter across the blackness of space. Imagine trying to explain that to future historians. Yes, in the 1960s, humanity decorated the heavens with frozen pee. These days, urine is recycled into drinkable water on the International Space Station. Which means astronauts literally drink yesterday's coffee, today. Cheers. And then there's Ed White's lost glove. In 1965, during the Gemini 4 mission, the glove slipped away during a spacewalk and orbited Earth for about a month before burning up. Think about it. For weeks, there was just a lonely glove circling our planet, like the saddest balloon you've ever seen. Some people joked it was the first space ghost. Personally, I like to picture aliens finding it and saying, humans must be very tiny. We've also tossed out some heavy-duty stuff on purpose. In 2007, NASA jettisoned a 600-kilogram tank of ammonia because it wasn't needed anymore. It eventually burned up in the atmosphere, but for a whole year, it drifted around. Basically, the world's most dangerous piece of space litter. This is why space agencies take cleanup very seriously. One loose screw or tank in orbit can turn into a bullet at 17,000 miles per hour. Not exactly the kind of surprise you want smashing into your satellite dish. And finally, let's not forget the random odds and ends. Cameras left behind on the moon, experimental gear, even little trinkets. Each object tells a story, some funny, some touching, some a little embarrassing. Together, they remind us that space exploration isn't just about rockets and science. It's about people, messy, sentimental, forgetful people. So what's the bigger takeaway here? For me, it's that space isn't just a cold, empty void. It's slowly filling up with pieces of us. From golf balls to golden records, from ashes to family portraits, we've been leaving breadcrumbs across the cosmos, like kids wandering too far from home. And one day, when future explorers, or maybe someone not from Earth, stumble across these relics, they'll get a strange but honest picture of humanity. A species that can be brilliant and ridiculous in the same breath. And honestly, isn't that the best kind of legacy? Sure, we'll be remembered for science and exploration, but also for the time we accidentally turned space into our junk drawer.